Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Hello all, and what is going on and how you doing this late Thursday evening? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are here live for my live review, catching up from this past Sunday's pay-per-view, AEW Double or Nothing 2023. I can't talk. This pay-per-view took place again this past Sunday, May 28th, 2023. And it took place at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're going to go over everything, of course, that happened on this card. Again, I apologize. This is coming late. Monday, I ended up just wanting to take it easy for today, with it being a day off from work. And then Tuesdays, I'm always busy. And then yesterday was just a really bad day. I was in no mood. And I also had some streaming issues when I watched this show on Sunday. So throughout the week, there was a couple matches that I rewatched again. Mostly the first half and the Pillars Fatal 4-Way, who I didn't really get like the full glimpse of it. So I rewatched those before I did this review. I also had some graphics to fix because there was a couple matches that I got wrong in the predictions. So I wanted to fix those as well. But I am here now. I did record my Raw review earlier though. I wanted to wait until I did this live. But I didn't want to go live because I had to wait for my brother-in-law to bring his dog over, because we're going to be dog sitting his dog for about a week. So I didn't want to be live in case if he showed up, because I was the only one home at the time. But again, I'm all set. I'm here now. I'll go live now. Then before I dropped my water bottle on the floor. Hold on, time out. Sorry, Marmar. Okay. I will so I will be uploading that after I do this live stream. So let's just get into it, because I don't have too much time. I really do want to get to bed. It's already 10:50 at night. My thoughts on Double or Nothing 2023. I didn't hate it. I still thought it was good. But to be honest, it was only good because of the last two matches. Not saying the show sucked. But I think it was maybe because, the crowd wasn't as into it. But just something felt like it was missing that one big punch. You know what I mean? Like, what we got was fine, but I felt like we could have done a little bit better. Like, this is probably the weakest Double or Nothing I've seen, in my opinion. And like I said, the last two matches is what really saved this show. Not really saved it, but it probably saved it from being the weakest AEW show they've done so far. Because, the stuff was good, but again, the card was confusing with the predictions. A couple little rules that was a little bit confusing with, and just some matches that weren't as good as I had hoped to. But I still enjoyed it. I still thought it was good. Not quite great, but I thought it was good. Again, especially those two main event matches. Well, okay, yes, I know I ranted about WWE not doing saying that there's three main events. It was a double main event. Okay, they were back-to-back for the main events. I get it, but as always, guys, there's only one main event, and it's the last match on the card. And it was not the match I thought it would be for this show. But quite frankly, though, either of those last two matches could have easily main evented this show. And we'll talk about those, of course, when we get to them. But yes, I will check the live chat before we actually talk about the matches. And like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time up here because of how late it is. But I will, give a decent thoughts as well. We have Tyler, who thought this was his worst pay-per-view of the year. Honestly, again, it wasn't bad, but it definitely has probably been one of the weaker wrestling pay-per-views I've seen this year. Did you hear about CM Punk coming back this month? I will save that for my Dynamite review, which will be tomorrow. AEW Fight Forever is 28 days away. I do plan on getting it. Although I ordered on Amazon when it was first announced that it came out. Because I had to order for the Switch. Because that's all I have is a Switch. But then for some reason it said it wasn't going to be coming until January 9th, 2024. So I canceled my order. And then when I found out it was coming out June 29th, I put the order back in. And it was still telling me it was coming out it was still not going to be delivered to my house until January 2024. So I'm just waiting at this point until the game just comes out. Then I will get it. Plus also I have couple little last minute things to pay for my wedding. Because we're 30 days away from that. Today was 1 month until the big day. Holy smokes. But yeah, I do plan on getting AEW Fight Forever. Wrestling News 365. Glad that MJF retained the world title. And with a over shoulder takedown or whatever, headlock takedown or whatever the heck it was called. Why did Adam Cole beat Chris Jericho? I feel he should have, of course, if I thought so, but we'll talk about that match. There's an article in the Anarchy Arena match was incredible. Yes, it is. Chris Jericho should just leave AEW. Honestly, he is starting to get a little bland. If I'm gonna be real, he is starting to get a little bit bland. But I think he is accepting his more so leadership role with the company, so I don't think he's leaving. But I'm not going to deny again, he is starting to feel just a little bit bland. But we'll talk about it as we get to it. So, a match that I had seen was listed on the card, but I was confused about it because I wasn't sure who was going to be in the match. And it ended up being a buy-in match, or pre-show, or 0 hour, whatever they call their pre-show now. Which was Ethan Page and the Guns, Austin and Colton Gunn, versus Hardy Party, which I thought at first could have been Matt Hardy and Private Party, or Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, and Isaiah Cassidy, because I thought Mark Quinn was hurt. But in the end, it was Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, and Hook. And I didn't get to watch the match, but I believe the babyfaces won. So, cool. If it was on a main show, I would not have cared about that match. So, just saying. So, that's the buy-in match. The match that opened the show was this 21-man Blackjack Battle Royale for Orange Cassidy's AEW International Championship. Like I said, especially in the first half of the show, the crowd was dead. I mean, they came alive a couple times throughout this match, but I think the first half was a little bit confusing because they had everybody standing outside the ring, and basically you got to enter the match whenever you wanted to, which was a little odd, I thought it was. But we had a couple of feuds that kind of collided in this match. Of course, we have the big one that I still don't get why they haven't done a pay-per-view match yet, but we've done whose house? Swerve's house. Swerve Strickland, who definitely was one of the biggest stars of this match. Him and Keith Lee, of course, renewed their rivalry in this match. We had Ricky Starks, the Golden Elite, Switchblade Jay White, and Juice Robinson in there as well. and a few others. I feel like they really gave a spotlight to Big Bill in this match. I think he was the number 3 spot. But of course, the 2 biggest stars of this match, no doubt about it, was definitely the champ himself, Orange Cassidy, and someone who's really starting to gain a lot of momentum, Swerve Strickland, leader of now, they're called the Mogul Embassy. I don't know whatever happened with Parker Bordeaux and Trench, the Mogul affiliates, but now again, Swerve Strickland is teamed up with Brian Cage, Prince Nana, and whatever the other guy's name is from the Embassy. So they're calling themselves again the Mogul Embassy. But he gained a lot of momentum from this match. Orange Cassidy, though, won by last eliminating Swerve, wherever Swerve was hanging on the ropes, and then Orange was just like, oh, whatever, and just kicks Swerve in the arm, and he just falls off so natural. So Orange Cassidy does indeed retain the AEW International Championship. Now, he apparently is going to be defending that title against Swerve Strickland on Dynamite next week. So we'll see what happens there. Could, of course, Orange Cassidy retain? Although I do think there's a good chance we could maybe see a new champ in Swerve Strickland. But of course, we will have to wait and see. But that's the match that opened up the main show. The second match was the unsanctioned match between Chris Jericho and Adam Cole. Well, before the match started, so the first thing there was Sabu, as he was going to be making a guest appearance on this show and be in the corner for Adam Cole. Bay. But, again, if I'm being real, this was one match that kind of disappointed me a little bit. First off, Sabu was literally only in there just for like a minute. I think I threw a chair to did like a chair sword fight with Chris Jericho, and then that was it. He was just gone. He didn't really do much in this match. Sabu. So that felt like a waste. The best part I think was either the ending or also when Britt Baker interfered in the match and she attacked Chris Jericho with a kendo stick. Saraya got involved, which actually set up for a tag match last night on Dynamite. And but the match was a little slow. It wasn't. I don't know if it wasn't quite as like brutal as I thought it would be, or this could be the fact that again Adam Cole and Chris Jericho just are that rare duo that are awesome in the ring, but just don't have the best chemistry with each other. It could be that as well. But the finish was Adam Cole won by TKO, which I thought was very fitting with how personal this rivalry is. But the match itself was okay. So, like I said, I can't really praise it that much because it disappointed me a little bit. But we'll see, of course, where this goes. Could Adam Cole maybe be next in line to challenge MJF for the AEW World Title at Wembley Stadium? Well, we do have Forbidden Door coming up first, but I think we might need some more, Japanese wrestlers or New Japan stars to get some advertisements for Forbidden Door, but we'll wait and see. But like I said, okay match, but it definitely was not as good as I had hoped for. So that's the match that opened up the show. The second match on the main card, I'm sorry, wait, did I skip one? No, I didn't. Okay. The third match, was between FTR and Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett for the AEW World Tag Team Championship with Mark Briscoe as the special guest referee, who is friends with all four of those guys. Match was good. I like how there was some extra drama added in there, of course, such as Mark Briscoe taking the referee bump. And obviously, though, even though, of course, there were the heels, Mark Briscoe still had a soft spot for the heels in this match up until the very end. There, of course, was a spot in the match where Mark did take a bump, and he was down, so they're calling in a brand new referee. And just out of the blue with a freaking guitar, Karen Jarrett smashes the face of Mark Briscoe. Eventually, though, whenever Mark was able to come back to his senses and realizing what Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett were doing, taking advantage of him, he then basically helped FTR retain the titles. Good match. Again, I still think I just lost interest because I just, again, do not get why they're heavily pushing Jeff Jarrett. I really don't get why. But, you know, the story fit. It worked. It kind of is like that moment of, like, you know, fans who may still be grieving over Jeff Jarrett and just, like, doing these things in honor of his memory. Like, that could probably be the case also. And again, both Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett are both really good friends of Mark AJ Briscoe. But, you know, thank goodness FTR retained as they should have. And whoever they defend the titles next, we'll just have to wait and see. Following that, we had this ladder match with Christian Cage taking on the TNT champion Wardlow. Good match again. Wardlow is doing some crazy ass stuff that a guy his size really should not be doing, but he still does it anyway. I thought it was a good match. Of course, the whole idea behind this is that Christian Cage is one of the most experienced men with ladder matches, so he obviously is trying to, you know, use that to his advantage to take the TNT title off of Wardlow, which I still was hoping this would have been Wardlow versus Luchasaurus, but maybe we'll get that, of course, another time. But I said my predictions. I did want to see Christian Cage win. However, though, I was worried that if he would win, it would continue to take away the prestige of the TNT Championship because it's been playing hot potato for the longest time now. But Wardlow did retain the title. I'm glad to see him get another longer reign out of it, as he did lose a lot of momentum last year, but hopefully this year it will be different. So I do have, I didn't think Wardlow would win as I thought they would do something to kind of give him a rub with a TNT championship for Christian Cage, and it really would be fitting for him, I feel like, too. But that is not the case, and Wardlow did retain and had a couple of really good high flight spots in there as well. Alright, before we move on to the next match, I do want to take a quick break and get a quick drink of water. I will be right back. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I just needed a quick little drink and a quick little refresher. But everything's good. All here. But yeah, like I said, it was another good match between Christian Cage and Wardlow. Again, they weren't like big, like, oh my goodness, match of the years. I mean, it was good. Again, Wardlow, again, has his moments where he's done some, dives off top rope. I do believe he, of course, had to deal with Luchasaurus, which I kind of want to see that match, Wardlow and Luchasaurus, for the TNT Championship. But we'll, of course, have to wait and see what happens next. The next match, this match, Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship. So, we've been hearing rumblings that apparently Jamie Hayter is hurt. I guess she still was hurt. And this was kind of a way to kind of like write her off television for the time being. Because before Jamie came out, she was attacked and worn down, basically to set up for an easy victory for Toni Storm to get the victory. And Toni Storm is your new AEW Women's World Champion, which is a nice little strength piece to add to the Outcasts, because again, they definitely need something to kind of keep their juices, flowing. Because again, I feel like that they've just been treading water for the longest time. Like, honestly, like I keep saying this, when the Outcasts first started, I was hoping that would have led to some sort of like blood and guts match or some big like war type stipulation, but to me it still is barely getting out of that first or second gear. Like, it got somewhere a little bit whenever Ruby Soho joined the Outcasts, but after that promo, it's like it's not really progressed anywhere since. So Toni gets the belt. Of course, this is her kind of making up for them crowning her the interim women's champion. It wasn't until after she dropped the title to Jamie Hayter when she basically was told, okay, you will be the actual women's champion in record books now. So this is the time for her to be able to actually have an actual run and actually be called the actual AEW Women's World Champion, not the interim Women's World Champion. But this was what it was to write Jamie off TV. Hopefully Jamie will be back by Wembley Stadium, because I guess now that she's been written off, hopefully if she's back by then, I guess he'll have like the hero's welcome with her winning the title back from Toni Storm. We've of course seen that match now how many times, but that's probably the route they're going to go with. So, there's that match. Then we have this Trios tag title match, which I could not find a PNG image with all of them holding a Trios title. But the House of Black, the champions, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews, taking on the Acclaimed, Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, and Billy Gunn. Now, again, I was confused because they had won a number one contenders match, but then it was like the match kind of disappeared off the card and they never advertised it. So I was confused, and I didn't think this match was still happening, which is why I didn't have it in my preview and predictions video last week. But the match I thought was still fun for what it was. House of Black got the victory. Of course, before the match started and Max Caster cut his disses, my favorite one was basically when he dissed on he dissed on Buddy Matthews for his girlfriend fooling around with a guy with a son named Dominic, referring to, of course, Dominic Mysterio, which is a very good Savage line. And again, the match was still good. Again, it was in that open house rules, which still confused the crap out of me, but it was what it was. The House of Black do retain the titles. Then we get another highly anticipated match between Jade Cargill and Taya Valkyrie for the TBS Championship. This was kind of like a battle of the glam slams. Like, I can't remember. Basically, it's the same move that Beth Phoenix called the glam slam. Jade Cargill calls it Jaded, and I can't remember what Taya Valkyrie's was. But basically, a battle towards that. It was a good back and forth match. Jade Cargill does eventually get the victory, which makes her, at the time, 60-0. She, of course, would then issue an open challenge because she felt that there was nobody left. And making her return was Chris Statlander. She accepted the open challenge. Match officially began. Probably about maybe 2 minutes later or whatnot, or however it was. Chris Statlander is your new TBS champion, coming fresh off of a knee injury. Great to see her back, and a nice little surprise there. As I think it was rumored that she was going to fight Thunder Rosa at what's it called now? At All Out, and she was supposed to win the title off of Thunder Rosa there. So this is kind of making up for it, having her be the one to be the 1 in 60 and 1 for Jade Cargill, but she's someone else, Chris Statlander, who's been here since the very beginning of AEW. So again, she definitely had some character development to do, but she deserves to get some recognition with the title. I'm happy for her. So she gets the victory. And then, the first of our double main event, as we first had the Pillars Fatal 4-Way match with MJF, the champion, holding the Triple B, Sammy Guevara, Jungle Boy, and Darby Allin. First, before the match started, out came Sammy and Ty with cue cards to announce that Ty is pregnant. And they're expecting their first child probably later on this year, which is awesome to hear. I mean, I'm surprised that, it didn't happen sooner with how not so secretive Sammy and Ty are about their, life. They did definitely show a lot of PDA on the internet. But of course, they've been transitioning to be a babyface. Maybe because he is going to be a daddy now, they're making him a babyface. Who knows? But either way, this match was still awesome. Between the 4-man counters, the storytelling moments colliding, the Spanish flies, there was a sequence when each person was doing the finisher of their mentor as well, which I thought was quite awesome. And of course, there was some key moments in the match, such as whenever it was just MJF and Sammy Guevara in the ring. MJF basically tells Sammy, just sit down and lay down, you'll get the money. You need the money for your kid. And of course, MJF was like, okay, I'll do it for my kid, but then he just uses it as a ruse to turn on MJF. But we had some great maneuvers there, and then some great back and forths, great near falls and whatnot. A lot of sequences of 3 straight near fall attempts, which I think are always fun to do, of course, as well. But then came the finish. So it seemed like that MJF got knocked out of the ring quite a few times in this match. But there was a part in the match where Jungle Boy, who his story has been he refuses to do things bad, he just wants to do things right. Although, could they be teasing that he's going to embrace that dark side maybe, which they could for something different, you never know. But there's a point in the match where, then again, MJF reminded Sammy, of course, again, about how he should lay down. Until Sammy, this past week, finally acknowledged that he was not going to lay down for Max, and he, of course, set him up to be tricked. But it didn't matter, because MJF still got the victory whenever he snuck the title in between Darby's coffin drop and hit his head off the title, I believe it was. And then, of course, just like before, MJF was able to win with a side hook takedown, whatever the heck it's called. Great storytelling, great match. Again, definitely one of the best matches of the card for sure, and definitely a match of the year candidate. And then finally, because again, I'm getting tired, but we have the Elite versus the BCC and Anarchy in the arena. This was chaos. This was mayhem. It was hard to kind of get order stored, of course, as it was last year, of course, when it was the JAS versus the BCC. Now, this year, it's the BCC versus the Elite. And again, we saw like weapons, we saw blood, we got uses of poker chips with barbed wire on the back of it, screwdrivers, all other sorts of violence. Oh, Claudio, I think, did a neutralizer on the back of a pickup truck also. It was just crazy shenanigans, I thought for sure. But of course, what did happen that I thought would happen, we did see Don Callis appear with a new associate. And just like what I thought it was indeed Konosuke Takeshita. Again, it led to the BCC gain a victory. And I like also that they had Wheeler Yuta get the pinfall victory. Wheeler Yuta pinned Kenny Omega. And of course, he just did this past week on AEW as well for Dynamite. But excellent match. I'm pretty sure, though, again, this is going to be leading to Blood and Guts at some point down the line. But we still got Forbidden Door to get through. So we'll see where all that goes. And that's the show, guys. Again, I gave the show a B. There was stuff that I liked about it, but again, it was just missing that one big little like punch to give it some oomph, in my opinion. I would check the live chat, guys, but again, I am super tired. I'm going to upload the Raw review, though, so that's just upload before I go to bed. And again, the Dynamite review will be tomorrow. Again, thank you guys as always for your patience. Sorry again, this review is late, but I want to cut it off here. So guys, once again, what are your thoughts on Double or Nothing? I gave it a B. Leave your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. And be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at The Club with the Man 93 and on TikTok and Instagram at The Club with the Man 1993. So until then, guys, I'm checking out, and don't always forget, don't ever forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself.